Hello, story lovers. Welcome to Memorable Stories with Sophie, the channel where we dive deep into the complex world of marital relationships and conflicts. Today, we're delving into a story that's as tangled as a bowl of spaghetti. Buckle up, because this tale is a roller coaster of emotions and moral dilemmas. Today's story on the r/8th subreddit is titled WIBTA, If I Broke Off My Engagement Because My Future In Want Me to Sit Down with Them and Go Over a Criminal Background Check They Ran on Me, shared by author Aggressive Parsnip 17. Ever had a moment that made you go, hold on, did that just happen? Well, get ready for a story that'll make that phrase your mantra. Now let's listen to the story. So, Tom and I have been best friends for 23 years, and we are inseparable. We grew up together and we are like brothers. So over the years, we got to know each other extremely well, including each other's secrets, desires, practically everything. We went to the same schools together, and we even have the same job, but at two different companies and in two different cities. However, we always hang out together and with our friends. 7 years ago, Tom met his wife, now probably ex, and from the very beginning, I was against her because of her arrogant and pretentious character. Attention. I wasn't always against her because she stole Tom from me. I liked most of his ex-girlfriends and I thought that they were the right girls for him, but for some reasons it never worked out, especially with his last ex. She cheated on him and he immediately broke up with her. But his mental and physical health was awful because he suffered a lot. I was there for him, and in fact, he always thanked me for what I did for him. The distance between me and his soon-to-be ex-wife, I will call her Tara, was reciprocal, but I never wanted to influence him because it's Tom's life and not mine. When they got married, I was his best man, and I was extremely happy about this, and that day everything was perfect, even though Tara and I didn't talk to each other a lot. After a year of their wedding, Tara became pregnant, and watching how happy Tom was made me happy too. I always supported them, financially. They were going through some tough months, and emotionally, and I was super happy to help Tom because he is my best friend, and I would do everything I can for him. When the big day arrived, the whole mess and drama started. Tara knew very well what was about to happen and didn't want Tom there, but he insisted, and she somehow agreed. I was there in the hospital too because I was waiting for this awesome moment like it was mine. Well, when the baby came out, I can assure you that emotions changed in a few seconds. I went from hearing, honey, push, push, to what the fuck? How is the baby black? You cheated on me? And he was screaming this, so you could hear it very well. After a few minutes, he ran out of the room, crying and sobbing like I never saw him. He practically jumped on me, crying and continuously asking me, why me? Why me? Why me? I didn't know what to do because it was the first time that something like this happened, and after a few minutes, my girlfriend arrived and seeing this scene, asked me what happened. After I told her, she too started comforting him. That day, he went to stay with us at my house. He went to sleep immediately after we arrived and slept a lot that day. His phone and my phone were blowing up with calls, texts, people banging at my door, and Tara's parents begging me to let them in, but I told them to go away and that he or I would contact them when the situation cooled down. The day after, my girlfriend and I had a serious talk about this with Tom, and we asked him if maybe Tara's family had someone black in their family or something like this that maybe in extremis could explain this situation, but he told us that he didn't know and didn't even want to think about it. So we asked him to do a paternity test just to be extremely sure, and that maybe the whole mess could be explained. Even that day after our talk, he was in bed for the whole day and didn't even eat anything, so I texted Tara asking for a paternity test and saying that Tom wanted it. She called me and started yelling, screaming, so I put her on mute for like 2 hours, and finally she agreed. The day after, Tom finally went to his house to bring the baby to do this paternity test. I can't describe enough what happened even that day, with Tara crying, begging him to think again. Her parents, too, begging him to think well, but he was cold. He took the baby, and we drove to do the test. After that, he again went to stay with me and my girlfriend at our house, leaving the baby with Tara and her parents. So a week ago, he got the results, and unfortunately, it wasn't his baby. Tom sent me to bring the results to his house, so I just knocked on their door, and when her dad opened it, I just gave him the results and drove away. Keep in mind that in all these days, his and my phones were always blowing up with texts and calls. So again, after hours of crying, he asked me for advice on what he was supposed to do. So here comes my part. We talked about this for hours, and I was extremely sincere with him about my point of view, so I'm going to summarize what I told him. I asked him if he loved the baby, whatever his color was, just from the first impact on seeing him, and he told me no, because the baby reminds him of Tara's cheating, and that sensation is way bigger than the love for his baby. I asked him this because some people feel immediately a connection and love with the baby, regardless of the biology. Then I told him that if it was me, I would divorce immediately because Tara never talked with Tom about their problems, her insecurities, and the major fact that she cheated on him, and probably Tom would forgive her because he is made like this and was deeply in love with Tara. But then, after hours of talking, I said that I don't want to influence him because it's his choice, and whatever he decides, I would be at his side anyway. He cried again a little bit, haha, and then started to call his parents and our friends for more advice, and I didn't even want to know what their advice was because I'm no one to judge people's choices. 4 days ago, he made his choice and decided to meet Tara alone and decided to divorce her. I knew this because he asked me to wait outside of his house just in case things would go wrong, so I did. Tara started yelling at him, cursing and screaming the worst and nonsensical things like she was right to cheat, and then that she was sorry that he wouldn't be a good father anyway, and then that he would be a perfect dad, and all this kind of bullshit. Then I heard Tom saying to Tara to pack her stuff and to go away from his house, and when I heard the noise of things breaking, and again Tara yelling at Tom, I went in and saw Tara throwing everything she found at Tom. But then, when she saw me standing there and watching her, she immediately stopped and started to pack her stuff while still yelling and cursing at him. After another 2 hours, she finally went away, and her parents picked her up, not before again begging him to forgive Tara, to understand the situation, and that everyone makes mistakes. So coming to now, Tom contacted a divorce lawyer, but now for some reasons I'm the one in the wrong, because apparently only me and Tom's parents told him to divorce her, because everyone else told him to forgive her. I mean, I'm being bombarded with calls and texts nonstop, accusing me of manipulating Tom, but I don't know and don't understand why and where I was wrong. So, am I the asshole? And now let's hear from our armchair experts and internet judges. What's their take on this soap opera of a situation? User Defi1 comments, "You're not the asshole. She cheated on him. She didn't confess and undoubtedly would have tried to pass the baby off as Tom's. You and your girlfriend even tried to calm him, pointing out that the baby's genes could have come from an ancestor of Tara's, and encouraging him to have a paternity test done before jumping to the conclusion that she had cheated. But the fact is, Tara did cheat, and let him spend the entirety of her pregnancy believing that this was his child while knowing that there was at least a 50-50 chance it wasn't. So your friend has been doubly betrayed. Good for you for standing by and supporting him." User Electronic Fox Course Squawk 6383 comments, "You're not the asshole. Your poor friend has been deceived in the worst possible way. You only supported him and gave him your honest opinion on this mess. What he chooses to do is up to him. I don't know how anyone could recover from that and stay in the relationship. You're a good friend." User Random Reddit 9791 comments, "Classic don't shoot the messenger. They can't be mad at Tom because they hope he will reconcile and be the daddy, i.e. pay the bills. So they are mad at you in the hopes some of it rubs off and they separate Tom from you. You are not the asshole, NTA, but Tom needs to see a lawyer, as, in some places, he will be deemed to be the father for child support, even when it obviously isn't his child. What a heart-wrenching story. It's a reminder of the complexities of relationships and the importance of honesty and trust. My advice? Always communicate openly and never be afraid to seek support, whether from friends or professionals. It's tough to navigate these waters, but remember, you're not alone. Thanks for tuning in to Memorable Stories. If this story touched your heart or made you ponder, Please like, share, and subscribe for more. Remember, every story has a lesson, and sometimes those lessons come from the most unexpected places. Stay kind, and I'll see you in the next video.